Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We're from Group 6 and we're going to present our big assignment about the implementation planning using accelerated SAP method in KALBE Pharma. So this is our group members. My name is Muhammad Ali Rozan Putra.
My name is Afra, Hana.
My name is Vietra, Shauma, Ranabilla.
And my name is Wali Pradana.
First, we are going to explain about the preliminary. Now I'm going to explain about the company profile of the company that we decided to choose, which is PT Kalbe Pharma. So Kalbe Pharma is founded in 1966 and has come a long way from a simple business in a garage to become the leading pharmaceutical company in Indonesia. And in the international market, the company has a presence in ASEAN, Nigeria, and South Africa countries, and has become a national health product company that can compete with the export market. PT Kalbe Pharma has four main business division groups, which are prescription medicines division with a 23% of contribution, health products division with a 17% contribution, nutrition division with a 30% of contribution, and distribution and logistics division with a 30% of contribution. These four business divisions manage a comprehensive portfolio of prescription and over-the-counter drugs, energy and nutritional drink products, and distribution business that reach more than 1 million outlets throughout the Indonesian archipelago.
Next, for the literature review, SAP is an enterprise resource planning software, which is an information technology and management tools, which is to help the companies plan and carry out various daily activities. The Activate methodology is a combination of best practice, good configuration, and methodology. So as you can see, these three elements is focus of the SAP Activate. So there are also two variants of SAP Activate implementation methodology, which is the SAP Activate methodology on-premise and cloud solution. For the on-premise solution is designed to support new premise SAP implementation for each project team. And for the cloud solution, it provides software as a service where installation and management of video system take place outside of the project. Okay, these are the SAP Activate methodology structure. The first is discover. This stage is the initial planning, and the second is prepare. For the preparation stage is focused on the planning and preparation, and also for this stage the project objective are defined and project scope is identified, and also the initial project plan is made here. The third is explore, which is this stage will produce fit or gap analysis. The fourth is realize, which is this stage is the blueprint based on implementation. Next, the fifth is deploy, which is in this stage is the final preparation to ensure user, system, and data prepared for the transition to productive use. After realize deploy stage has been passed, the final preparation goal for go live begin at this phase. And the last is run. This stage is an introduction to how the system implement can run as a whole. We go into the discussion. SAP methodology, Exert SAP, is a standard SAP-related project preparation system and system implementation method, developed and updated by consultants that are involved in implementing SAP software product. This methodology is also useful for project manager and other who implement system that support business process. As you can see, there are five phase here, which is the first is project preparation, business blueprint, realization, final preparation, and the last is go live and support.
So before we go to the project preparation, we must have to discover in designing the RP system. So as you can see in the picture of in the presentation, the discover phase is before the preparation step, and discover phase is where we identify the business value and benefits, define the adoption strategy and roadmap of the company. This stage is the initial planning and preparation of the SAP project, and it aims to perform initial configuration before preparation for implementation and introduction of the system to the user. At the discovery stage, the process of identifying all aspects and the environment is carried out and then determine the scope of the application to be designed up to the testing stage. In discover phase, we have three steps that we have to perform. The first one is raw material, defining the raw material. So as you know, PT Kalbe Pharma is a company that runs a business mainly in the pharmaceutical things. So the raw materials that they got is mainly from BBO or bahan baku obat that mostly produced in China. And then the second one is determining the strategic planning. The strategic planning of PT Kalbe Pharma has two main. The first one is corporate strategy, and the second one is unit business strategy. The corporate strategy for the PT Kalbe Pharma is to develop the international business and enhancing research capabilities. And for the unit business strategies, there are three sub-strategies, which are building strategy, which is to expand the market into a global business, and then low-cost generic strategy to make the company have competitive advantage. And the third one is differentiation energy that applies to the energy drink products to strengthen the customer loyalty due to the emergence of many competitors with similar low-price products. And the third step, or the final step for the discover phase, is application value and scoping. So in this step, we have to determine the objective, major deliverables, and critical milestones. And the objective for this phase is to integrate the inventory data. And for the major deliverables, we have to determine the business case, high-level requirements, and scope document, making contract with consulting partner and ERP package vendor. And also for the optional, we can determine the RFP for consulting partner and ERP package vendor selection. And for the critical milestones, we have to get the acceptance of the business case. We identify the high-level scope and requirements, release of RFP for consulting partner and ERP vendor, and completion of contract procedures.
Okay, for the ERP system design of PT KALBE Pharma, which is the project preparation phase, as you can see here, there are project goals, project scope, and project procedures. For the project goals, it is implementation of the information system in supply chain management module related to the expert product of PT KALBE Pharma. For the project scope, there are two, which is the first is usage of supply chain management module to build an ERP design framework using SAP at PT KALBE Pharma. And the second is create an ERP system concept using SAP at PT KALBE Pharma with the project planning stage and company blueprint using the accelerated SAP process. And the last is the project procedure. There are approval from PT KALBE Pharma to the project team, and also approval from the stakeholder and shareholder of PT KALBE Pharma. And next, for the ERP system design of PT KALBE Pharma, which is the project preparation phase, also there are the training, project kickoff, and technical requirement. For the training, the technique that we use here in this training is the form of training on the job, which is where the employees are put in actual circumstance, where we prefer to use the approach of job training. For the project kick-off, as you can see here, for the activities description, we also have the execution time, which is the September until October. And for the technical requirement, we have the requirement SAP ERP software, network connection, cloud storage, and hardware.
So we go to the implementation of ERP design in the PT KALBE Pharma. First, we have explore phase. So after we do the discover and project preparation phase, we go to the explore phase. And it is the adopted drive of SAP standard with fit to standard approach. It implements the differentiation of business practice by capturing the delta requirements. So in this phase, we have 10 steps of creating the SAP blueprint. First, we have develop a process inventory. So to develop the process inventory, we should think about the process orders. In this step, we have to implement the current system of the company, and we need to identify the development needs for a custom form, report, requirements, or workflow. So in this, in our analysis, we analyze the workflow of the company of PT KALBE Pharma, and each company have both positive and negative sides of the workflow. So the negative sides of the workflow in this company is no overtime counts for the supervisor level or above, and then the working hours for the supervisor level is high, almost 12 hours or more, and there are competitive career paths. So based on that workflow, we think that there are a few systems that we have to develop, and we think that we have to develop the workers' working hours and salaries regarding the overtime. The second one is creating a foundation for building business blueprint. So in this step, we have to create the plan before we begin working on a new software system. We can gather the requirements of security, authorization, and enterprise-wide training. Regarding the company security authorization, we can KALBE continuously maintains consumer trust by implementing the precautionary principle and giving priority to safety and service to customers. And for the training for the enterprise-wide training, KALBE Pharma has actually learning center that has graduated 7,476 trainees who are ready to work in the pharmaceutical industry. And then the third step is to create the blueprint. So in this step, we have to understand where the responsibility changes between two departments. So we already defined 3 steps at least. So we have to complete the blueprint phase first before we go to the next step, which is the estimate time and cost. And then because we have to set the goals for the process, we have to define the baseline of measurement. And in the step, if we already complete the blueprint document, we can estimate the time and cost using the data that we already collect. And then the 5th step is to verify the SAP blueprint. So we have to confirm whether our SAP blueprint is already proper or not by asking the feedbacks from the appropriate colleges. And we create the SAP business blueprint of PT KALBE Pharma for the explore phase of ERP implementation. And after that, we have to get a verification from those appropriate colleges. And then the 6th step is to deploy improvement techniques. And in this step, we have to follow organized approach to improve the business process to create the business value by using these 4 methods, which are evaluate value-added activities, remove redundancy, reduce processing time, and using automation. And then the 7th step is to develop the internal controls and metrics to help tracking the progress. The 8th one is to conduct a trial run to help checking the SAP system without needing larger investment. And then implement the change where we can finally roll out the newly designed process and follow continuous improvement, so that after we already conduct the business blueprint, we have to continuously make the update about the establishing of new approach for business process improvements.
We move to the third phase, which is realization. And the purpose of this step or realization is to implement all business process requirements based on the business blueprint. And the configuration methodology is provided in 2 work package. The first one is the large scope or baseline, and the second one is the final configuration or remaining scope. So in this phase, there is a project management that we can manage the project. What are the stages to do the realization phase? There are 7 stages. The first one is organizational change management. This is the the existing and the purpose of the organizational management in the KALBE Pharma. And the existing one is there is a leader, and then general affair, and also administration section and warehouse section in KALBE Pharma. And after we know the existing, we propose to for the organizational change management to be better. There will be a leader, same, and also a vice chairman. And in the section manager, we propose that there will be a procurement department, production department, and the last one is warehouse department. For the sales manager, there will be 2 departments. The first one is the sales department, and the second one is the distribution department. So after that, the second one is the baseline configuration and confirmation. In this second stages, in realization stage, we carry out all the steps that will be carried until the end of the realization stage. We do some activities. There are 6 activities in this baseline configuration and confirmation. The first activities is we have to install the application to do the first thing in realization phase. After we install the application, we have to configure the setting in company, or we can say that company configuration. And after the 6 stages until the quality check. And the third stages is the system management. In the system management stage, we intend to ensure that the application installation, configuration, customization, and the use procedures in the halal manufacturing production that can be properly performed in this KALBE Pharma. So after we know the system management, we move to final configuration and confirmation. In this step, we install the application, configuring the company, customizing applications and procedures, same like before, but we use the inventory management module. And the next one is user interfaces development. In this user interfaces development, we can add or replace the menu that may be the dashboard for the function to show the reports in the application. So the user interfaces must be attracted for ensuring the user that the program is good enough to use. And then the last one, we have a quality check. The quality check means that we just checklist or we type complete in the status of the project management and other things. So the next one is after we do the realization phase, the fourth phase is the final preparation phase. In this phase, this is the step to reach all related aspects. So the user will be trained by using the new system. End-to-end testing to do the newly created system to create a user profile and also the activities of the data to be migrated. Same like the realization phase, this phase also has a project management, which is there are 7 stages inside this final preparation phase. The first one is training. In this training stage, the employees are trained to know the ERP system in the SCM module at PT KALBE Pharma. The purpose is to introduce a system that may be employed by the corporate when implementation. The second stage is system management. The system management is same like in the realization phase, which is to ensure that the application installation, configuration, customization in the halal manufacturing production that can be properly performed. So it must be managed properly. The third one is the detailed project planning. So in the project planning, we must develop the project management by doing some detailed project in advance. There are 5 phases. The first one is preparation test. Second one is execution test. The third one is evaluation phase test. After that, we do the final integration testing, which is this is the application test. When we want to, for example, inventory master file, or we want to report about the inventory, the problem, or there is anything wrong or something like that, we do by final integration testing. And then the next one is user acceptance testing, or UAT. This is the type of test performed by the end user or client to verify or accept a software which is submitting a software application to production. This actually we define which one is the critical acceptance requirement, which one is not, and also which one is the acceptance and which one is the rejection, and also the comments what are inside there. And the next one, we have a cutover for the migration data. In this stage, the project cutoff, which is the part of the operational phase when a project is deployed in the production process. Is to make the KALBE Pharma become feasibility and do the checkpoints to execute the plan and data by determining the scope of the project, data management, migration, and other things. The last one is the quality check. This same like before, where after we do all the stages in the phases, we just have to check list it or to type it complete when we finish all the stages.
And next, we'll go to the go live and support phase. So this part is the end of the system. So this part is observance groups from each internal and external should make sure that all components work optimally and running in the system directly. The software system development team continues to hold out drawback determination issues that arise whether or not associated with the system configuration, changes to master information, or issues associated with dealing record. The support team may retrain if it's felt that the utilization concern haven't totally understood the use of software system. At the go live and support stage, watching and supervising activities are applied on the implementation of SAP on the system at Platinum KALBE Pharma. Watching and supervising activities are applied at the go live and support stage, specifically to scale back risks that are out of management which will occur within the system, or in alternative words, to visualize the feedback provided by the system once SAP implementation activities are applied. Also, coaching are going to be controlled once more for workers and users if they are doing not perceive the utilization of the ERP system optimally. And the conclusion for this assignment is the implementation of the ERP using the ASAP method will produce the inventory scheme. It has become more integrated and simpler for KALBE Pharma. And as my friends told you before, the steps for this implementation is discover phase, the project preparation phase, business blueprint, realization phase, final preparation, go live, and support. So that's it for our presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.